accusing them of demanding sex for grades. Several students spoke anonymously to Wavy News 10, fearing backlash.
I did not want this to tarnish the reputation of the university. I felt like the entire situation was unfortunate.
The university says it's investigating and offering mental health support. Black Newark, New Jersey Mayor Ras Baraka is suing after what he calls his egregious arrest last month outside of an ICE facility. He accuses U.S. Attorney Alina Habba of false arrest, defamation, and acting as a political operative. And Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass will not have to testify in a homelessness lawsuit after subpoenas were pulled. The LA Alliance for Human Rights sued the city for allegedly failing to meet a deal requiring nearly 13,000 beds by 2027. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Whoa, now. What's happening, good people? How you doing? How's everybody? Hoping everybody is having a good day. Hoping that you have taken a moment and got you some air conditioning today. It's hot outside. Good Lord, it's hot. They said it was going to be a cool front. If that's a cool front, I hate to see what it's going to be when it's really hot. Because that ain't no cool front. It's hot outside. Yes, it is. Got a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about today. We're going to go over some news, and we definitely going to get your comments and see what you think about some of this stuff, and hopefully come up with a solution on what we can do to make it better or change it altogether. But we got to talk about it. And I hope that's what we're willing to do. I hope that's what we willing to do. It has been an interesting day as we talk about some of the things happening. Again, I think the topic of conversation that everybody seems to be happening is the fact that we have been looking at this massive video and everybody's seeing and repeating and saying, you know, empathy and sympathy is something. Oh, I thought there was a camera over there. I was looking like, oh, that's the camera? Right there. Yeah. Sometime, people. Just sometime. Just I am. Give me a minute. Shut the door. Sometime. Just sometime. There, I said it. Just sometime. Just sometimes, y'all. Where was I? Before I was distracted. That's a good word. You're a distraction. We have been looking at this video, and everybody looking at this video. What is interesting to me is the empathy or the sympathy that a lot of the folks have been and will be talking about, probably as this young man has made his plea on social media. More so than anything to me, now this is just to me, I don't want them to hurt this young man. And the longer this goes, the longer that this goes on, I have a bad feeling that he's going to be subject to somebody that got frustrated or something that happened, and we don't know who's having a good day and who's having a bad day. So I am hoping at some point somebody can at least tell them, turn yourself in so that they can work on whatever they need to work on that way, so they're not looking for you, and there's a possibility that you get into some type of bad situation with law enforcement or these bounty hunters, because they got them out there too. And that ain't including the number of people that want that money. That is not including the number of people that want that money. So, I'm just saying. It will happen. But hopefully somebody can talk some sense into Mr. Massey. And I'm not even going to forget Mr. Graves as well, because the longer this goes on, the longer it's going to take for somebody getting into some type of trouble. Hopefully that ain't the case. I'll leave it at that. The other thing, too, we got to talk about yesterday's meeting at the city council. Yesterday at the city council. Looked like a setup from the get up. And because it was not supposed to be pointing the finger, everybody pointing the finger at everybody. It was supposed to go over the numbers from the jail. And then, of course, the auditor was there as well. And the auditor was doing his thing, and they were leaving him alone. Didn't know that he was coming. So who invited him? Oh, we didn't go over that part. We didn't go over that part. Who invited him? Does that make sense? So a lot of finger pointing from the sheriff's department to the district attorney's office, to the district attorney's office, to the city council. Where does the buck stop? I know people just want that jail fix. They spent a lot of money, $134 million for that building that is 10 years old. And by the way, was it discussed? Because they wanted to find out who built it? Who built it? Who built it? You don't know? She's been there 3 years, and y'all been there how many years? And y'all don't know? Hell, Helena been there 16. And you don't know? Y'all signed a contract. It's the same people that's building the other wing right now. Y'all signed that contract too. What's it? McDowell? Same people. So here we go, yo. Here we go. And it's just coming back that the charges against Antoine, what's his name? Antoine Massey? And said the charges against him, as we were holding him in jail, that the charges that were against him, we didn't mention that part. They were just accepted by the DA's office. What, 10, 11 days ago? How long he been in there? Forever. And they just taking the charges? Somebody needs to ask that question. When were those charges accepted? We need to be asking some questions and stop pointing the finger. Ask the question, but why are we pointing the finger? Because those that seem to have some issues, because everybody got some issues. Everybody got issues. Sheriff got some issues. District attorney got some issues. City council got some issues. It's all supposed to be collaborative. But what I see right now is an ambush. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm too close to the situation. Maybe so. And maybe so. And did I say maybe so? Maybe so. So we'll find out some more. I understand there was a good meeting that happened on today. I am working as I'm having these conversations, because it ain't just me asking the sheriff and she's saying, okay, I got to go through the realm of folks that are her legal advisors as well and ask, can we get her to come on the air? And I'm working on that now. I'm working on that now. And I got to be very careful that that's going to happen. So, all right. Let's go to the phone line. What you say, Cedric?
Hey, man, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I will. But we know the WBOK family, this show's family, we know that a lot of things hit the news media because of WBOK and our WBOK family. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask for the journalists, the news media, to have some integrity and to investigate this jail situation in its entirety. Mm-hmm. You're already concentrating on the sheriff and her staff, but I'm going to ask you to concentrate on the city, their financing or the lack thereof, which caused the problem. The sheriff has a track record of saying We've never had enough money. She said it a number of times on this show, and Gerard, you've mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to ask that the concentrate news media or other news media, not WBOK, I'm going to ask that you concentrate on the backlogs of cases. You just mentioned that his charges were just accepted 11, 12 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, which is very important, we have a sheriff's race currently now, which the sheriff suspended temporarily her campaign. Did I say that right?
Wait a minute, say that again now.
The current sheriff, she temporarily suspended her campaign to deal with the issue at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Madam Sheriff, please, as the current sheriff, why don't you do a tour to the different senior citizen places and let them know your side of the story, because we can see through what's going on. Nobody's saying that the sheriff, you, Madam Sheriff, that you don't have a role to play, but we see where other people are badgering you and they're not taking responsibility for the role that they have to play,
right,
which is financing the jail. That is a state law. And that's on the mayor's office and the city council, or that's on the city.
Mm-hmm.
And that needs to be talked about. And this is where I'm really going to open up a can of worms, and I don't care. We got people running for sheriff. Will the sheriff office keep its autonomy if someone from NOPD is the sheriff?
Will it keep its autonomy? What do you mean?
Office be, sir?
No, I was asking, what do you mean by that? You said, will it keep
what
its
I mean by
autonomy?
that is the sheriff and her jail pretty much is independent of, per se, the politics that the NOPD may have and the district attorney's office may have.
Mm-hmm.
The influence of Chlamydia, Glenn, whatever his name is, and these police unions, will that sheriff's department be able to keep its own? Will it be able to stand on its own? Will it have credibility? And voters need to be thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't need a district attorney's office who's backing a certain candidate who put them in the race with control over the jail. You don't need NOPD being able to influence the jail. Mm-hmm. Will the criminal justice system, that part of it, be compromised? Mm-hmm. And this is just something for people to think about. Mm. And thank you.
I'm still a little shocked though, Cedric.
For what?
Chlamydia?
Oh, Gornichi, whatever. Now, all of them, and here again, all of them got something to say about the sheriff in this jailbreak, and that's fine. Mm. But where is your concentration on the lack of funding when she has a track record of saying we need money? Mm-hmm. Where her chief executive financial officer is saying we need money. Yeah. And when they said that in the meeting yesterday, J.P. Morrell, Mr. President J.P. Morrell, because I want to put a title on it because I don't know you like that, he's more combative than trying to fix the problem. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, and I'll stand by it, and I will debate him on it, I don't think you truly, nor your city council, your fellow city council members, give the respect to the position of mayor and to the position of sheriff, which happen to be filled by Black women.
I was just surprised yesterday. I thought this was going to be talked about when he was acting like, it was a phenomenal issue of having 44 bank accounts, the sheriff's department being in control or being the recipient of 44 bank accounts, because if it don't matter to me who is the sheriff, there's always going to be monies that are dedicated funds that you cannot put into your general fund. So what do? You have to put it in another fund, and you have to open it up as another bank account to pay for. Let's see. There's money that's coming from Troy Carter. There's money that comes in for another grant. Then you got money that comes in for the prisoners after they get out. They've got monies that they got to distribute. They got all these different things that they got to keep this money in order. Okay, you can't put it in the general fund and just use it willy-nilly. So they put it in different bank accounts. But that's been for ever in the day, and nobody has ever asked about it. That was before her as well. And I'm wondering, like, why is this now coming up? Is this political, or is this trying to make you sound like you don't know what you're doing? But I thought it was interesting that they did not ask the question and say, well, we didn't do it. We just know that these accounts were there beforehand. And these accounts separate the dollars because we're responsible for them, and we can't put them in our general fund.
Gerard, it's political. Look at who's supporting who.
But I
They're
also
all
thought this, though.
in the same political bed.
I also
now,
thought this.
My
question would have been, listen to me for a minute. My question would have been is, you know, the it don't matter to me in this sense, as far as the sheriff herself is concerned, in the political side of it. But my part is, I would have asked the same question because the sheriff's office is a mini city. She got over 600 to 800 employees, depending upon which day it is. And I would have asked the question back on the city. How many bank accounts does the city have? The city of New Orleans, how many bank accounts does it have? You know how many I have, but how many do you have?
Gerard, the crucial point is this, and I wonder if the city council is paying attention. I wonder if basic civic classes are needed. This is the point right here. They're trying to treat her like she is the police chief, which is ran by the city. And the sheriff department is a different agency which gets funded by the city per state charter. So you trying to ask her about come to our brass system and all this stuff, you're out of line. She does not report to you.
Man, I agree. And not only that, but let me add this to this since you brought up the brass system. The brass system is for city agencies, and they can look at different agencies that have it. But you're asking the sheriff's office to come to it, but did you ask NOPD because they're not a part of it? Did you ask the district attorney because he's not a part of it? Did you ask some of the other first responding agencies to come to it because they're not a part of the brass system? There are plenty of agencies in the city of New Orleans that are not on that software. And I'm wondering when you're going to ask them.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Not this past meeting, but the one before, I was there, and the sheriff and her chief financial officer said, why do you have a problem? We report to y'all every month, and we use the same auditor.
Yep.
So it is incumbent upon the citizens to see the entire picture.
Yep.
Because if you want to say that the sheriff needs to be out of office, then maybe these people running for office need to be out of office too, because they should have been funding this jail.
Well, I will tell you
Who's talking about that?
It don't matter who wins the election. I can go back to the previous sheriff. They had the same problem with Marlon Guzman, too. They had the same problem with Marlon. They had the same problem with Fody. But, I mean, Fody was his own man, and he had over 6,000 people in jail here at that same time. And he had prison breaks as well. This, to me, is a ploy just to get control over the finances of the jail, of the sheriff's department. And I don't think that's going to work too well. But
again, WBOK family, all you got to do is Google who is responsible in the state of Louisiana for the funding of a parish jail within their parish.
And it is a revised statute. You are correct.
I believe it's 703.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, man, thank you.
All right,
you know, they trying to play with our intelligence.
Yes, indeed. All right, my brother. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Bye.
We got more coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight. We got more in just a minute. We'll go with some news, y'all. Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars because the real ones always stay informed. The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present Keeping You Well Cafe, 60 Minutes with LCMC Health, where the doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of care here in New Orleans, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. At the Keeping You Well Cafe, LCMC Health joins WBOK and local businesses to answer your questions about wellness and health.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 12:30 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Accru NOLA invites you to join their community network in celebration honoring Juneteenth and Pride Month. On Thursday, June 19th, diverse professionals will gather for FET by Accru, an evening of authentic connection and collaboration from 5 to 8 p.m. at the lab on Ursulines Avenue. This safe, inclusive space brings together innovators across the greater New Orleans area and the Gulf South for meaningful conversations that advances your business and professional career. Accru creates pathways for sustainable growth through genuine community. So for driven networking like this, learn more at accrunola.com/RSVP.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. What is today? Wednesday? It is Wednesday? Man, this week been going by fast. Yes, it did. One of the things too that I will bring up when we start talking, and I don't want to harp on this my entire show, because I do have some other news that I want to bring up. But this seems to be the talk of the town, and maybe even the talk of the region, or maybe even the nation when we start looking and having a conversation. Because I did see on national news last night with Tom, what's his name? Tom Yamas. He's now the anchor for NBC News because Lester Holt said, "That's it for me. I'm not going to do this part no more, but I will be a part of Dateline." But one of the things with Tom Yamas he was talking about is the fact that we need to have this conversation too about prison escapes. You know, the fascination with everybody saying, oh my God, they're out. Make sure you lock your doors to your car, lock your doors to your house, and yada, yada, yada. And the question has been and is, are they really going to do something to you and your family? Should you be aware? And are they trying to just get away from law enforcement and have a peaceful life? Now, I'm going to answer some of those questions, and some of it is not positive. I do think that you should be aware. I do think that you should be totally aware of your surroundings and have your kids in, lock your doors, because a lot of them are just trying to get away. Are they trying to hurt you? Could possibly happen in the meantime. But one of the things that in that conversation piece that I saw in the news last night, it said the sensationalism of an escaped convict by news media. Now, we had one of the largest, I'm not going to sit up here and try to candy coat it, that we saw. And we even saw yesterday Antoine Massey say, he said, I didn't run out of jail. I didn't escape from the jail. I was let out. What that meant, I don't know. I don't know what he meant by it. He was let out, but I don't know what that meant. But in the meantime, I saw this story to take away from some of the sensationalism of a prison escape. It seems to be and has been happening all over the country. Listen to this story that came from a News Nation article when we were talking about the professionals that can talk about this conversation about prison breaks. Go ahead.
Dated facilities and staffing issues. Employment retention has plummeted since the COVID-19 pandemic, with reports of up to 30% of workers leaving each year. I want to bring in a man who knows a lot about this topic after having dealt with one of the biggest jailbreaks in the country back in 2022 when corrections officer Vicky White helped violent felon Casey White escape an Alabama jail in what became a tragic love affair. I'm sure you remember that story. Retired Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton joins us now. Sir, thanks for joining us this afternoon. We've got multiple jailbreaks, multiple people still on the run. What do you make of this?
Well, it's nothing new. I mean, it's always happened and it always will. County jails are just not as secure as state prisons, and they're just a lot of factors that go into an escape like this, and unfortunately, the county jails are just lend themselves to this kind of activity.
Officials in New Orleans, at least, they have stressed, to sort of your point there, that they are understaffed and underfunded. But we are seeing these prison breaks, and they are brazen. What will it take, do you think, for county officials in states nationwide to sort of take this seriously?
Well, corrections has always been the stepchild of law enforcement and of politics. Everybody wants everyone locked up. They want us to lock them up and throw away the key, but they don't want to have to pay for it. And so the funding has always been an issue. The pay is not good at all for corrections deputies. When I went into office, I had deputies actually selling blood to get money to pay their bills. The pay was so bad. And then you add on top of that the environment that you have to work in every day, the stress. You go into work, you're constantly threatened, you're constantly cussed, you have urine and feces thrown on you, your family members are threatened, and you put up with that all day long. And it's just a very tough environment, and most people burn out real quick. Then you add the fact that you're understaffed. You probably talk to 9 out of 10 sheriffs in this country, and they're going to tell you they're understaffed in their jails. You just can't. Retention is a real problem. Trying to keep good employees on the job because of the work environment and the pay and the burnout. So it's just a non-ending cycle of hiring corrections deputies, then leaving, replacing them, and until they professionalize the corrections agencies across the country, and you do that through better pay and better training. That's another problem with the training. When you're understaffed, you're already working a tough job, and then you have to work 1 or 2 of your off days during the week to cover because you're short-staffed. The burnout just sets in real quick. So it's a combination of factors that are going to have to be addressed by our elected officials to update and professionalize our correction systems.
A vicious cycle, it sounds like. Sir, you have a very unique perspective when it comes to jailbreaks. At this point in Arkansas, that inmate has been on the run for a week now, a little over a week now. In New Orleans, we've had these men on the run for several weeks. If you can, bring us into the investigation, what law enforcement's doing right now and what challenges they face as the days go on.
Well, in Arkansas, they have a tremendous challenge because Hardin has a background in law enforcement. He knows what's going on the other end. He knows what the investigators are doing. Having that knowledge, he's in a better position to avoid some of the pitfalls that these guys fall into typically. That's going to be a tremendous challenge. I'm confident they'll eventually get him, but it's going to be a real challenge because also on top of that, I think he grew up in the area where he's at, so he knows the area like the back of his hand. And when you factor that in with his knowledge of the system and how the investigators and search teams, what they're doing on their end to try to locate him, and his knowledge to be able to avoid some of those situations, and it's going to be they've got a tough job on their hand locating Mr. Hardin, but I have every bit of confidence in the world that they will find him.
All right, there you have it. That comes from News Nation. As I sat there and I listened to this gentleman, I was wondering, was he from here? And of course he's not. But it sounded like he was saying everything that has been said about jailing somebody or being the jailer. And anybody that has been in that position or will be in that position is going to go through the same thing here. It's not the best job to have in the world when you are that person in charge. So that is interesting. It just sounded like a broken record to me. It just sounded like a broken record. And it sounded like something that was said over and over and over again right here, and it had nothing to do whether you were going to be on the brass system or not, or whether you could look at my contracting or not. And I didn't like the fact that they were talking about that, we're going to have to pull money from other places to be able to pay for your jail. We're going to have, I was saying to myself, I was like, I didn't know you owned the jail. Is she responsible for it? It looked like you already got the money. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. It's like, yeah, we got money right there, but I got a payroll segment coming up. I got to pay all these different bills. Got to pay the light bill. All these different things, the contracts. Somebody got to feed these people. Got to pay for the food. Oh, by the way, you got 1,500 people in there. You got to feed 3 times a day. How much you think that costs? Could you do it? Oh, and by the way, we got all these vehicles that we got to pay for too. Because it's not only just, running around and saying I'm the sheriff. You got to pay for those vehicles that are going out there to serve papers. You got to bring back and forth those folks to and from jail, whether they got to go to court, whether they got to go to the doctor, whether they got to go to another parish. You got to bring them back and forth. Them vehicles go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but they wouldn't even give them new vehicles. They don't have new vehicles. Everybody else does, but they wouldn't give it to them. Ain't that interesting? So whoever's in the seat, I'm trying to figure out, is that going to be the same issue if there is somebody else in that seat? Because I think Marlon Guzman complained about it. I know that this sheriff has complained about it. Will the next one, if there is another one, will they complain about it? Will they? We shall see. We shall see. And then went on and then little Red Bottoms went on his little Instagram. It started bitching with his Captain America sword in the background. I just want to say, please. Please. That's what I'm talking about. Well, I said sword, huh? The shield, the little shield, Captain America's. And the Thor handle, the hammer. Is it me? I love his mother and his daddy. They my people. But y'all can put that one back. Y'all can put that one back. Come on. I wonder you got any black friends? You got any black friends? I wonder does anybody ask that question? Having some folks that are in your corner, other than those other set of people, is interesting. It's almost like you have a question about your heritage. It's almost like you have issues with being who you are. I would rather go and chum down a whole. I went to lunch. Where I go to lunch with? Me and Suzette. went to lunch about 2 weeks ago. And she was like, come on, boy, you've been working too hard. And I was like, you too. So come on, both of us going. So we went to lunch. So she got to the place before I did. And when I got there, Suzette's sitting in the corner, and she was like, all right, let's get something straight right now. I was like, oh, Lord, what I did? She said, no, I'm just preparing you. Don't say nothing. I said, what you talking about? She said, we're going to go in here, and we're going to sit down and have dinner. Lunch, that is, not dinner. But I don't need you saying nothing to nobody. I said, what are you talking about? Because he was in there. Having lunch. I was like, I can't say nothing. She was like, no, you can't say nothing. I was like, I just wanted to walk up to him and say, Bia. She's like, no, you can't do that. I was like, okay. But when I saw who he was having lunch with, I was like, something getting ready to happen. Because it was somebody that's got a lot of control with contracts. I said, watch what's happening. And if this person is in charge of that or anywhere around it, I'm a holler foul. Because that means you're meeting with these folks outside of the view of the audience or those folks that's watching these contracts, and you're trying to get them to get the contract. We shall see, because you have been outed. And then the other thing, too, about New Orleans. All of us have been driving around, and when you get to the stoplight, there's somebody always sitting there with that sign that says, work for food. Can you help me out? Spare change. Help a brother. And then the one that always makes me go, give him some money. He doesn't ask for you. He said, I need a beer. That's my favorite one. I need a beer. At least you're telling me the truth. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, boy, how many people drive up to that person at the stoplight and then you lock your door? Or you roll up the window and you're like, So I'm starting to carry around me a box top. Because that's what they usually write on and holding it up. It's a box top. So I got me a box top in my car. And mine answered some questions.
Please tell me you didn't do that.
Yeah, I got me a box top in the car.
What does it say?
Well, you know, when they was like, need help or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mine says, I'm broke too. I'm broke too. Can you help me? I flip it over and say, we can help each other. I'm going to roll down my window. Can you give me some? No, I don't say all that. You know, I got bad jokes. Because I don't think nobody really wants to be homeless. I don't think nobody really wants to be broke. I didn't wake up today, and I hope you didn't wake up today and say, what you going to do today? I'm going to just be broke.
Actually, there are some people that rather be homeless.
Yeah. So now there's an article, and I'm glad you said that, that has everything to do with criminalizing homelessness. All right, y'all ready for this? Being homeless is not and should never be treated as a crime. But people do not choose homelessness. It is often the result of circumstances beyond the control. Children, individuals, and families alike can be impacted by a crisis. Now, as a city and a state, We have responsibility to ensure funding is available and used effectively to address the cause of homelessness. But we must just accept rampart encampments as a solution, nor the dehumanizing of people experiencing homelessness. We must invest in mental health services, housing and outreach that treat people with dignity. And Senate Bill 196 is a poor legislative bill to have advanced, where they're going to criminalize you being homeless. You homeless and you on the street, they're going to try to put you in jail. And I was like, wait a minute. Is anybody going to say something about this? Nope. Nobody saying nothing. Well, how's that going to work? They're like, they don't care. The homeless folks are not going to say anything. Why not? Because they're usually, along with the mental health folks, are the least, they don't have nobody to take up for them. So they're not going to say nothing. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So it made me ask the question, well, who wants to criminalize being homeless? What part do you think is that? Who wants to criminalize being homeless? Do you think that the people that are homeless should go to jail? Now, when they cut up or put somebody in some type of a situation where they need help or somebody's acting a fool, do you really think that the folks that are homeless need to go to jail? And how do you identify those folks? They got a sign saying need help. They're walking around with a basket. You know, they walk around with the grocery baskets with all their stuff in them. They got a tent. They over there at the encampment. How do we identify the homeless? Because I thought that's what the money was that came from housing and urban development, HUD. That was supposed to do that. So now we're going to say, you're going to jail if you are homeless. And what really got to me was, as I looked up the Senate bill through Legiscan, it asked all of the legislative hands to vote on this. Of course, there was one particular version of this by Robert Owen, that, of course, you had the Republicans vote one way and the Democrats vote another, even though it was a bill that was put in to be bipartisan. And it still made me ask the question, why am I criminalizing being homeless? Hey, Miss Anita.
Good afternoon, Mr. G.
How you doing?
How's everything? Good, good. Listen, now, with that being said, you just made a whole mouthful. With that being said, they're already having problems feeding these people and keeping them up, keeping the jailhouse. So now you're going to have thousands and thousands of more people going to jail. You got more mouths to feed, more housing to for these people. So what is all of that about?
Yeah, you're talking about what? We're supposed to keep our jails somewhere between, I think this was a question that was asked yesterday, how many folks would we say would be a comfortable number to say is at capacity? And that number was between 800, 850, maybe 900. Right now we're at 1,500.
Okay, so when they gonna get released? Where they gonna go? Back on the street?
Nah, they're gonna be sleeping on the floor. in the jailhouse.
So they're going to spend the rest of their lives in the jailhouse?
Until they can bond
Because
out.
they're homeless?
They're going to bond out until their time frame comes to court.
My God. They don't want to even get the people help. Get these people places to stay. They're taking away everything from them.
Nope.
They're stood in the warehouse all this time to hide them from the public when these big events come in town.
Yeah, we didn't want y'all to see them during Super Bowl and when Taylor Swift came.
So they're going to put them away. Essence going to be right around the corner. So they're going to get put away again. Or no, they're not going to get put away. That's a black event. They're not going to get put away. They're going to leave them there. The black events doesn't matter.
So well, I'm going to read the bill to you so you can make up your mind on what it is, and then we need to talk to, because I'm going to try to get in contact. His name is Robert Bob Owen, who is the primary writer of this bill, Republican. Let's see, will he come on the air and talk to us about this? Okay?
Okay, baby. All right, I'll keep listening. I'll keep listening and find out the solution to this problem.
All right. Thank you, my dear.
All right.
All right, talk to you in a minute.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Cedric, hold on. I'm coming back. Let me take my break. I'm coming right back to you. More next, right here on WBOK.
Didn't catch this morning's conversation? No worries. The Good Morning Show is now a podcast on all your favorite apps. Just search WBOK Media, find The Good Morning Show, and make it part of your daily routine. Download it, share it, and rate it 5 stars. Start your day with something real.
NOLA Public Schools is excited for the rest of this 24-25 school year journey with our families, watching our students dive into learning, growth, and success. As the school year continues, our dedicated educators are focused on keeping every student engaged and motivated. Let's keep embracing new challenges, celebrating achievements, and supporting each other to make the rest of this year even more impactful. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS through our social media channels for updates and resources. We're here to help our scholars attend today, achieve tomorrow.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
WBOK, online at WBOK1230.com. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Cedric, hold on. I'm coming to you. So let me give you the legislation here. The legislation introduces the crime of unauthorized camping on public property, establishing penalties for violations, with first-time offenders facing fines or imprisonment, and repeat offenders facing harsher consequences. Importantly, individuals charged with the offense may be eligible for the homelessness court, and I'm going to read that to you too. That's a whole program, and if available in their jurisdiction. The bill requires defendants to enter a guilty plea to qualify for the program, which allows for deferred or suspended sentences, which conditions of supervised probation. Successful completion of the program can lead to the dismissal of the charges, and the bill mandates that each judicial district create written policies for implementation. The proposed legislation is set to take effect on August 1st, 2025. Now, with that being said, I guess the question I would have, and maybe somebody needs to ask this on the House floor, why do I have to go to jail to make myself available for these issues? Why do I have to go to jail? Cedric?
Hey, Jerron.
What's going on with you, man?
I don't know if it's the same bill I heard. I thought I was listening to this once before on a federal level. And they're going to have a court just for the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're chronically homeless, they're going to imprison you for hard labor. They're going to have homeless jails or some kind of
it's homeless
like that.
Homelessness. It's called homelessness court. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they spend all this money, all this crazy stuff, except for help for the people.
Mm-hmm.
They'll spend money on all kind of foolishness, but there's still no help for the people
mm-hmm.
that are homeless. And, most of those people, a lot of them are veterans. Some people, you can tell that they have mental problems,
Right.
You can blame Bobby Jindal for part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just horrible, man.
But I guess my question still stands. Why do I have to go to jail to get some help? Because I think it's going to cost us more to do this than it will to have somebody directly from some type of HUD services or homeless services or mental health services to go directly to that person and say, let me get you some help. Now you go into jail. I got to put you in a overcrowded situation in New Orleans. I got to put you in a jail. You're going to be there. Now I got to feed. I got to give you some type of mental health issue, and I got to give you some type of not just a mental health some type of mental health issue. I got to also be able to say, oh, you need some medicine.
Yeah. But you're right. This is maybe another subject, but I have 2 family members. They're all going to school for sociology and, this kind of stuff, social work, because they see some things in the family.
Mm.
And there are a lot of young people that I know of, black people, that are going to school for this kind of work because they see the need for it. So I just don't, it don't make no sense. Spend all that money in that little warehouse over there. That was a bunch of foolishness. There.
$16 million. $16 million. Just
and
for
then
Super
they
Bowl.
go after. To me, they go after the people that are doing some work. They're always pointing fingers at what are those people? Unity. Seems like they pick on those people.
Yep.
And I know firsthand because I know somebody that's on the board of directors that used to be homeless,
mm-hmm.
and they do the work.
Yeah.
Because I know he's still doing the work.
Yep. You are correct. All right.
All right. Thank you for your help, Duran.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Hey, Miss Ty, what you say?
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
I know this is going. I knew if anybody was going to call me today when I brought this story up, I said this is a Ty story.
Yeah, it's. When are they supposed to bring it to the floor?
When?
Yeah, or they've already done.
I'm giving the tracking. This made to the floor, Senate May 29th, 2025.
Okay.
Read by title,
the thing about it
to
is,
the calendar. So it has been returned to the calendar, subject to call.
So they may bring it back to the floor.
Third reading and final passage, subject to call. It does not have the date on that yet.
Yeah, I need to know because I want to be there.
Senate Bill 196.
Yeah, I'd like to be there for that. The thing about it is this: it's really disheartening because just like you said, you're spending more money to put them in a jail and to have, food, medicine, as opposed to giving them all the wraparound services, whether they're chronically homeless, whether they're newly homeless, whatever it is, they're making it a criminal situation. Mm-hmm. Now, let me say this, homeless court, they had it for a little while, it went away. Now they're bringing it back, but they're bringing it back with different caveats now.
Yep.
You
are correct.
Which is that you're, like I say, you're criminalizing people that are less fortunate.
Mm-hmm. I am criminalizing it. And I'm sorry, there is no court to me, current court to me, whether we call it homeless court, whether we call it criminal court, whether we call it civil court, it doesn't matter to me what court you are talking about, that is going to keep me in a position where if you're arresting me today, I may not be able to go to court until next year about this, depending on what the backlog is going to be. And don't forget, New Orleans is one of those cities that has been put in a position where we've got more homeless people just about as much as Los Angeles does.
Yep.
So
we
what's
look
going to be the
very
backlog?
similar to Skid Row.
What's going to be the backlog? That's what I think somebody needs to be asking.
Well, and that's why I said when they bring it back to the floor, I would like to be there. This is so interesting to me and disheartening because, like I said, you're criminalizing folks that can't do for themselves already. Mm-hmm. So because you're less fortunate, because I don't like you and the look of you or what have you, I'm going to do what I want to do with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're making a bad situation already worse. You're not caring. This is not a humane situation. Okay, you all are treating these people as if they are less than, because that's how you look at them. If you're poor, if you're underclassed, if you're less fortunate, you are less than to them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's so unfortunate because, like I said, the resources are here. The resources are here. Now, the only thing I can say is maybe it'll keep some folks from wanting to come here to be homeless, because that happens as well. They leave their state, they come here. Hey, New Orleans is the place to be or whatever. I could party and I'm still homeless. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I've witnessed that firsthand, but hopefully it lets those people know as well. Look, they're not offering you the same resources, because that Unity has a thing set up for chronically homeless. Right. You know, where there's the wraparound services and all. So why are you now criminalizing it as if, oh, well, forget about that. We're not worried about the work that y'all are doing. We just want to throw you in jail. And mind you, too, there's a detention center here. Mm-hmm. So who's to say that that's not a part of the agenda as well?
Right. So,
you know, but that really, really bothers me.
I'm also looking on this that Senator Plessis is also looking at this as well. Senate Bill number 196. The senator that wrote the bill is Senator Owen, but I see that Senator Plessis is on this, and he is also working against them in the fact of the criminalization. So there have been a lot of amendments that have been put to this and documents too. I have not had a chance to read all the documents, but this is on the legislative bill tracking already. I need to call Senator Plessis and ask him about this, because I'm against this altogether, because the criminalization of somebody for being homeless, I don't know anybody that's just basically not trying to get over on a scam that is homeless because they want it to be. I've always heard that it's either a mental health issue, something traumatic has happened in their lifetime, from veterans to those that have, you know, family members that lost them or something happened to them.
Domestic violence. Right. It's all types of things that leads up into that.
Right.
So I mean, when you look at the grand scheme of things, let's put it into perspective, G. Okay, look at the cost of living in Louisiana, in New Orleans. Let's just say New Orleans. Mm-hmm. The cost of living here, along with the minimum wage rate, any of us are one paycheck away from being homeless.
Right.
So then what do we do then?
And then here's the other issue about the homelessness, and I know you know this, but the issue that I have with this too is also it doesn't break down what they consider. Are you living on the street? Is living on the street also those folks that stand in their car? Those folks that don't have, or are we talking about those that are in encampments that have tents? Oh.
I think that it's a blanket. I think that they're covering all, but here's my question with that. Like you said, if you have people that are sleeping in vehicles, correct? Who's going out and checking those vehicles? So are you taking Unity's records or any outreach records to say, I saw XYZ, turn over your records, because that has been an issue as well. Mm-hmm. Okay? They were mandated, hey, turn over your records, and they refused.
Well, the primary on this bill is Senator Robert Owen, and it's Senate Bill 196, just to give you the information. But he's the writer of it, and I'm looking around and saying to myself, that's not good. But there have been folks like, NOLA.com, Fox 8, the Louisiana Illuminator, all of them are writing like really bad stories about this bill. So I don't know how far this is going to go, but I'm looking around and saying to myself, I just don't think that we should be criminalizing somebody that may not have a choice in this matter altogether. So we'll see.
I agree. And the sad part about it is that shouldn't even be a second thought.
I'm going to try to get Duplessis first, and then we'll get Robert Owen on to talk to us, okay?
Okay.
I'll keep you updated. Thank you, my dear.
All right, G.
Talk to you later. All right, y'all, we got to take a break here. Boy, what a fast hour, huh? It's a fast hour. We got another one coming up. So everybody hold on. We got Mo coming up in just a minute, y'all. News is next, and James, we're going to talk to you next. Hold on.
From campus of Xavier University.
Yeah.
WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Brian McKnight is speaking out after his estranged son Nico's death from cancer at 32. In an Instagram post, he criticized his former wife and brother for mishandling Nico's final moments. Brian said his family held a private memorial in Maui and offered treatment that was declined. FanDuel has banned a bettor who posted a video of himself heckling Black Olympic gold medalist Gabby Thomas at a track event. He claimed the taunts helped his parlay win and calls himself the track and field bully online. Thomas said he followed and insulted her. FanDuel condemned the abuse. And a new Wallet Hub study is ranking Wisconsin last in the U.S. for racial equality in education based on graduation rates, test scores, and degrees earned by Black and white Americans. Connecticut and Minnesota follow closely, while Wyoming and New Mexico rank highest for equality. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks. Stop laughing at me, bro. Stop laughing.
Don't tell him what you just told me.
Yeah.
Don't tell him.
No, I ain't telling. No, I told you. So that's going to be it. Let that be the end of it.
That's the end of it?
Yep.
Okay. You know they saw you do the happy dance.
Yeah, I let them know I'm happy. So I'm happy. All right, folks, welcome back. A little bit after 5 on your way home. Good conversation, y'all. 504-582-9422. Senate Bill 196 about criminalizing homeless people. Do you think that should be something that we're even talking about? 504-582-9422. James, thanks for holding, brother.
Absolutely. How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Vagrancy bill, vagrancy laws.
Wait a minute,
Does that ring a bell to anyone? Vagrancy laws. Does that ring a bell to anyone?
The Davison law?
Vagrancy.
Vagrancy. Yeah. Okay.
Does that ring a bell to anyone?
I don't know exactly what that would be. I can't tell you quote the statute for vagrancy.
Let me put you on game. The vagrancy law is what they use to once emancipation was declared the law of the land. Vagrancy law was it. But I release you Negroes into the world, and everywhere y'all went to go to find a home, I said no, and I arrested you. So vagrancy laws is going to be the new slave laws. Well, not the new slave laws, but just the shored up slave laws in this country.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that we got so many different things that are happening in our country right now because yesterday was interesting to see. Now, I have to say it this way because this is what it is, and I know that my black people.
Go ahead, bro. We all family here. We just talking. We hope and jump lands and listen.
Yeah, but my black people probably understand this and saw this, and everybody probably had a smile on their face when they went into.
Because I know you know what vagrancy laws is, bro.
I'm glad you explained it though. But listen to me for a minute. Yesterday, they had a bunch of white folks. They got together. Was this yesterday or the day before yesterday? But they got together and they was getting ice. They was getting ice out of their daggone neighborhood because those immigrants was in their neighborhoods working at their daggone they little cafes and stuff and serving them and fixing their food and all that. And ICE came in there and arrested 4 of them. And they were like, "Oh no, you're not gonna do this. Get out of our community.
You're not gonna arrest it. You're not going to rusticate my Negroes."
No, I want us. That want no Negroes.
Yeah, no. Say, bro, them brown folks.
There you go.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. They were Negroes.
But I was like, whoa, they clapped back on ICE?
Yeah. Say, bro, listen. Vagrancy laws. We recycle it. Well, history repeats itself.
Well, here
Those
we go.
who do not study history will repeat it.
So I wonder why, though, James.
Know why?
No. Listen to me. Why?
No,
Let me finish the sentence.
No.
Why are we not having these conversations in our own community?
Listen, bro. I'm not going for it no more. I'm 47. Boy, you come to my door talking about some Negro, you in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm about to bust your ass. Sorry. You know why. You know exactly why.
But why we not talking about this? We don't even know these. I'm surprised that a lot of folks don't know about these things that are coming up. How we don't know?
How you don't know? CRT. Bruh, my children swim. My children swim. They're a part of a world that ain't like we don't do this. So I got to deal with a whole bunch of these folks. Man, you know I got to explain to some of these people that the Handmaid's Tale, the movie, the TV show, the book,
yes, indeed,
is reality. Yeah. Like that's happening in front of you, but you don't see it because of your white skin. I got to point that out to you, and I do it. You know what I mean? Like there are situations and symptoms in this world these people ain't even aware of, man. They have no clue. They have no idea. Their ideology is all backwards. They have no idea of this. Listen, man. They know that we ain't going for it no more. They know this already. That's why you don't see a whole bunch of us getting slammed down. They kill us first. You see what I'm saying? They're killing us first. But the rest of them, they just slam them to the ground and export them to El Salvador.
I couldn't believe that lady in Metairie was, and Lord knows I don't want nothing to happen to her, but I couldn't believe that she was in Metairie with a gun in the car, pointed at the police. They didn't shoot her immediately, and she got out of the car pointing the gun at him, and that's what it looked like. They shot her with some non-lethal type of weaponry.
Non-lethal. That woman survived.
Yep.
That's right. That woman survived. You're right.
But if
you
we would have picked up a
that
gun,
good white woman. You bet not shoot that good white woman. Jeff Landry, I hope you're listening. We see you.
I thought that was interesting. So we shall see. All right, my brother.
Very interesting.
Let me get some of these calls. I appreciate you. All right, Paul. Paul?
Hey, G-Man.
What's going on?
Well, who's going to benefit from criminalizing homelessness? It's pretty simple.
Oh, what do you think? It's going to be those that are going to put them in the jail cell. They're going to be in. They can't get out. They're going to be delayed. Yeah. And, of course, they're going to end up being servitude type of labor.
Well, of course. And so, you back up and look at our administration's basically running off a lot of farm labor and warehouse workers. So the benefits are going to be the private prisons.
Mm-hmm. And I can put you in there and pay you cents on the dollar.
They're going to take the migrant buses that don't have anybody to put in them, and the private prisons are going to contract with them. They're going to be the farm labor. They're going to be cleaning catfish. They're going to be packing boxes in Arkansas for Walmart.
Picking lettuce, picking cabbage out the fields.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cents on the dollar. And
yeah,
it's going to end up being like it is now for those that are going to the state prisons. Because what I don't like, now I know a lot of folks that tell me that they like going to the rodeo. I don't like the rodeo. And the reason why I don't like the rodeo is because most of those inmates that are in there that are participating in that Angola too, that are participating in that rodeo, they're trying to make some money so that they can get some type of legal help and be able to pay for an attorney.
Right.
But why I got to put my life on the line and almost get speared by a live steer, and because you hanging something on his horns, and I'm trying to get it from him. Nah.
It's sad when that becomes a better alternative.
Yep.
Than what you got.
Yep.
So
you are correct,
simple,
sir.
Man. People, start calling you conspiracy theorist, and say, no, man, come on, it's simple.
Oh,
it's a plan.
I am the president of the conspiracy club, so
you and me too, brother.
I just want to welcome you as a card-toting member. So,
listen, I've been enjoying you up there in Michigan. Ron turned me on to you, and
where you at?
It shows that Up in West Michigan. I'm from New Orleans, but I live in Michigan now.
Okay,
but,
cool.
Your show's entertaining, informative, and I truly enjoy it. I'm glad I found it.
Well, I appreciate you listening, sir. Tell everybody we said hello up there, too, yeah?
I hear you, bro.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Have a good day.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. 504-582-9422. Hello to all of our folks up in Michigan. We appreciate y'all for being a part of the conversation. So, we have issues. So, I'm going to call Robert Brown and see if he'll come on. He is a state senator who wrote this bill, Senate Bill 196. So let's talk about Mr. Robert Brown, Senator Robert Brown. And what has he written in the past? Is this something that we can all look at and say, it is worthy? We should make sure that, this passes. Because Senator Plessis is asking questions. I see that all the, I'm sorry, I think I said Senator Brown, but this is Senator Owen. This is, I think, in my personal opinion, another part of servitude. Meaning I need to put you people that are eating up all of our resources, you people. I need to express that, though. You people. So who are homeless? And I think that we have probably looked at our homeless population and really never broke it down. What? No, I don't think that we have broken down who are our homeless folks. It would probably take me the remainder of this show and probably tomorrow's show to talk about all the issues of our homeless population. The assumption by a lot of folks, especially here in New Orleans, is that the majority of the homeless folks are black. When that's not necessarily how this thing rolls. So one person said earlier today that homelessness ain't by choice. And if you don't like that I use the word ain't, well, get over it. You'll be all right. There are a lot of people that aren't a part of the real culture of this city. So they have issues with mama and daddy and run away from home. Or they leave home and then they get with a dark side of living, which we have called, and I'm gonna say it because that's what it's been called. That's what it's been called ever since I've been here. They call them gutter punks. But they homeless because they choose to be. And the majority of them are white young folks that come from mostly well-to-do families. They just don't like that, I guess, that culture of these well-to-do families, and they run away from home or they leave home with nowhere to go, no plan. You just got with your boyfriend who's also, he a gutter punk. And the majority of them are in Garth, running around in black pants, black boots, black shirt. And they hang together in groups. I'll never forget, God rest their souls, several years ago when it was cold during the summertime. During the wintertime. I don't know what I said that for. During the wintertime. And the majority of them, after Hurricane Katrina, got together, and they were down in the Lower Ninth Ward and put together their own encampment. It's interesting how we talk about encampments when we see the homeless people that have gotten together with their tents and they're out there by Channel 6 underneath the bridge, and we have moved them away. But we haven't talked about the homeless encampments that are in areas of our city that we won't bother them because of their racial backgrounds or because they're not on the main thoroughfare. See, we put together this encampment of gutter punks. And what did they do? They got together, got those 55-gallon drums, put some wood in it, put some other stuff in it, set a fire so that they would have some type of heating facility. And they all went to sleep. But what they didn't understand at that time was the fire that they set and what they were burning as far as the wood or other chemicals that they were burning in that 55-gallon drum was causing the release of carbon monoxide poisoning. They were all together. They were all in their little encampment. I think that they were in a frame of a house that didn't have any type of furniture or anything else in it, and they were sleeping. Well, that carbon monoxide was just aching to get out that 55-gallon barrel, and they were breathing it in. That poisoning, that gas, that carbon monoxide poisoning killed all of them. So what did you have? You had an encampment of gutter punks, and I don't like calling them that. I might need to find another term to call them that were discovered because none of them survived. They all died. That happened here. That happened here. I don't know if anybody else remember that. The other thing that I don't like, and this is what I hear all the time, especially when we have, and I'm speaking for those that are members of churches that have kitchens, that get out there and do the work every single day. And they make those styrofoam plates of food, and they get out there and they feed those homeless people. They keep giving them food, feeding those homeless people. And it's usually somewhere near, where is that? Near Claiborne, or it was by I-10. A couple of other places that, I don't have the locations, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all get a sense of it. It bothered me because everybody is human, y'all. And these folks are doing the work to feed these people that need something to eat. What's wrong with that? You know what the city was telling us? The city was telling us to tell those folks, to tell those spiritual folks that are doing God's work, I'll put it that way, to stop feeding the folks because those homeless people are leaving trash from the, I was sitting there saying to myself, what? They were leaving all of those styrofoam plates and all that stuff all over the ground, Stop feeding the people. That's all we had. I got more when we come back, y'all. Everybody can get in on the conversation. 504-582-9422. More coming up next.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. The banking industry is working hard to try to earn the trust of Black households. Research from the McKinsey Institute for Black Economic Mobility shows that avoiding banks is costing Black families money and could be a key contributor to the racial wealth gap. That's why firms like Greenwood could make a big difference. It's a Black-owned financial institution helping to bring more Black families into banking, and it's reinvesting in the Black community. Ryan Glover is co-founder and chairman of Greenwood and talked to me about some of the creative ways his firm gives back.
When our members create an account through Greenwood, it provides essentially 5 meals to a food insecure family through Gooder. Each time you make a purchase, Greenwood rounds up the spare change to support HBCUs through the UNCF.
Glover's Greenwood co-founders are rapper and activist Killer Mike and former Atlanta mayor and U.S. Ambassador Andrew Young. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
When you partner with CDW, your people get more out of technology. CDW data experts are simplifying complex workloads with high-speed AMD processors, which helps your project managers efficiently manage heavier workflows. Game designers level up creativity, and scientists develop their next breakthrough. Amazing, right? Make amazing happen. AMD and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/AMD.
That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown Party Mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Connect with NOLA Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed, stay engaged. Visit NOLAPublicSchools.com today. Again, that's NOLAPublicSchools.com.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Don't forget, coming up today, 6 o'clock, Arnie and Gary, they're going to be right here in the studio having some conversation with you. So make sure that you check them out, all right? That starts up at 6 o'clock this evening. Getting back to my regular conversation here, I'm talking about this homelessness. and I want my church folks to understand something. I know a lot of the good work that several churches have done by offering these folks that are homeless food, no matter what day. I know some of the folks have done it every day at lunch. So one of the things that I saw was the fact that the city had come out and said, stop, and telling those folks, stop feeding the homeless. And I was wondering why they said stop feeding the homeless. And they said it was because they were creating too much trash because they were eating the food and then throwing away the styrofoam I guess the garbage, and they won't throw it in the garbage. It won't put it in no type of reciprocal. They were just throwing it away in the street. And I said, that was it. That was interesting. So you're telling me to stop feeding the homeless because trash is in the street. Well, they were putting trash in the street, creating more trash. But I didn't hear that same type of issue. And I still don't see that same type of issue because every Sunday morning, and I don't know if anybody else can call me and say, gee, you ain't lying, I see it too. But I'm hoping that somebody else other than me sees this and can amen me for a minute. Because every Sunday morning, right there on Franklin Avenue and Claiborne, at 9 a.m., there is a group of folks that come out and feed the homeless. And I ain't talking about us. Now, we there. But the majority of the folks that I see crossing the street, running out in traffic to go get a styrofoam plate of food, look like them. And I haven't heard, and this ain't nothing new. This been going on for years. And I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between what I see and what I hear with these groups of folks. I see them pull their trucks up, open up the back. A lot of them is just, and I'm just looking at the truck, the Ford Explorers, just coming up, opening up the plane. They got plates in the back, trying to give them to the people. But out here on the lower Ninth Ward, or the upper Ninth Ward, at Claiborne, right there at Franklin Avenue, they got a table across the neutral ground, feeding the folks. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is all white folks, but there's a good number of them. And as racial as I am sounding right now, and I know this sounds racial, but I'm also looking at this and saying to myself, what's the difference? We feeding humans that need something to eat. Are we just that hard that we'll take a stance against certain folks, but not against all folks? Is that me? Lamar, what you see?
Hey, Juice gonna.
What's going on with you, big brother? How you been?
I can't complain. Got a couple of things that was on my mind. The topic we just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between all the trash that they throw on the ground for Mardi Gras?
Exactly.
That we pick up.
Just clean it up.
Just clean it up. That's all. Another thing. This past weekend, I was at work in my truck. We need to try to pass. I'm tired of seeing an accident happen at a certain intersection, and at the intersection, the remaining parts of both cars or whatever is just left there and swept on the side.
You see the glass,
bumper, the
you see
headlight,
the bumpers.
Glass, it's just swept. It's just left there. I don't know if we could try to get some law passed to make the tow truck company, who's ever towing it, clean it up, and if the tow truck company has to pass that bill off to the insurer, Progressive or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
But I shouldn't see the remainders of an accident at an intersection 2-3 weeks later. Another thing, G, we need to try to get more value for our money, as far as when the city puts out contracts to cut trees or to
well, believe it or not,
do this and do that.
One of the things that's supposed to be with contracting, and that's not with all contracting, is supposed to be a section of that contract that says, oh yeah, you need to do something in the community to do either beautification work, cleanup work, or something that makes that area better.
Better, correct. Right.
and it's
right.
not being
And,
enforced. It's not being enforced.
Yeah. Hey, G,
Mhm.
you know the lights from Elysian Fields all the way past the high rise is out.
Again?
Been out. Oh, been out. They've been out. Now they've been working. Seen the crew. I don't know if they was working on the lights last couple of nights, but they've been out for a while. And also the lights on top of the Mississippi River Bridge. There was rainbow colors last night,
Yep.
and you could clearly see
That section
certain
gone.
sections of them not working.
Yep.
Certain sections not working.
And that's $1 million a year. And I'm like, where the warranty at? Somebody need to come. And instead of us asking where the fans at, we need to be asking where the warranty at. And who gonna fix it?
Yeah, before we be stuck with it.
Hey, bro, it's only
Stuck
been
with
6
broke
months.
lights.
It's only been 6 months. And there is the part of that supposed to be, y'all got a warranty for it. I need y'all to get up there and fix them lights. I'm paying $1 million for that. And they say, well, when I called the city, they said the city ain't got nothing to do with it. It got everything to do with DOTD. Called DOTD, left them an email, still have not heard back.
Yeah, all right.
So maybe we need to
Well, let me
call
get
again.
Yeah.
How you been, though, Russell? It's good to hear your voice.
I can't complain. Can't complain, man. Can't complain at all, man. God is good.
I need to let everybody. Can I let everybody know who you really are?
Sure, no problem.
So a lot of folks may not know who this is, but this is my buddy from. Good Lord, Lamont, how many years is that now?
Got to be about 17.
Yeah.
How long has it been for Katrina?
Yeah,
15,
that's 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, when we have these conversations about what happened at the Beachcomber Bar and Grill, when y'all heard me call his name Lamont, this is the young man that was the RTA bus driver that was there and was the recipient of that bull crap. And that happened to you and your friends, your buddies, your working companions. And
yes, sir. Yes, it did.
So and I know that'll be something that'll stay with you forever, and you're not gonna let it go. We ain't gonna let it go either. But it's interesting. It is interesting.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. Makes you mad.
Yeah, I need to have another conversation with you about that anyway, because that's going to be
No
interesting
problem.
to see in August how this is
No
going to
problem.
be portrayed or forgotten. One of the two or three. So we'll see.
No problem at all.
Good to talk to you, my friend.
Same here, G.
I'll
Take care.
talk to you later.
All right.
All right. Yes, indeed. That is Lamont. That's my boy. That is him. Boy, I could tell y'all stories. Ooh, y'all remember. Y'all would be like, what? What's wrong with you? Yeah. We need to write a book, Lamont. That's what we need to do. We need to write a book. Mm-hmm. So now, let me get back to this. I done jumped off all the different subjects. What was I talking about? The homelessness. Let me talk to some of my church folks right now. 504-582-9422. I need to talk to some of these church folks, or if you're working with a ministry that goes out and does the people's work. Are you feeding folks? You don't have to tell me the name of your church unless if you're scared, you don't have to tell me the name of it. But this is probably money, donations, things that people, I don't think we really consider that. This is your hard-earned money. This is your tithes and offerings. Y'all go out and buy the food. Then you have the folks, men and women, that get in these kitchens and cook. You have to buy the utensils. You have to buy them in bulk. You have to buy the styrofoam plates. You have to buy those in bulk. I see y'all all the time down there at the, what's the name of the restaurant, Depot? And y'all buying these things because you ain't having no family reunion. You're not going to nobody's crew party. You're not under no tent trying to serve people for a family reunion. You are in the kitchen at the church cooking food in bulk so that you can put it in those plates and deliver it to the homeless. And now we're trying to criminalize it. So let me read this part, the summary of bill text. Now, here, and I'm going to tell you as soon as I read this part on why I don't agree with the homelessness court program. I'm going to tell you why. It's going to sound great to you. And you're going to be like, nothing wrong with that. Something wrong with Gerard. Senate Bill number 25 RS, revised statute through 405, introduced by Senator Owen. It seeks to establish a homelessness court program in Louisiana. It is aimed at assisting individuals experiencing homelessness. The program focuses on providing access to treatment for substance abuse and mental health issues. Let me go back again because I want you to really pay attention to this part. The program focuses on providing access to treatment for substance abuse and mental health issues, thereby reducing their interaction with the criminal justice system. All right, now remember that part. It's supposed to reduce their interaction with the criminal justice system altogether, right? Here we go. Key goals include reducing recidivism, meaning that you should not be going back to jail. We shouldn't be picking you up after we just let you out. Recidivism rate 3 years ago was 8 times here. So I know that if you go to jail now, I'm going to see you 8 more times. Now I think it has gotten down to either 3 or 4 times with the work that we're doing over at Orleans Parish Court, Orleans Parish Jail, that is. So key goals include reducing recidivism, offering job training and housing assistance, and enhancing accountability among participants. The bill mandates annual evaluations of the program's effectiveness, which will be reported to the state Supreme Court. It also emphasizes a non-adversarial approach, ensuring defendants have legal representation and outlining the responsibilities of the court and treatment programs. Sounds great, doesn't it? Wow, you are giving me some great stuff. Until I get down to this part. The legislation introduces the crime of unauthorized camping on public property, establishing penalties for violations, with first-time offenders facing fines or imprisonment and repeat offenders facing harsher consequences. Why I got to go to jail to get the help that I need? Hello? Why I got to go to jail? Now, the first part sounds like, wow, I'm going to get some help. All right, then. Until I'm finding out that, oh, yeah, by the way, you got to go to jail to get the help that you need. It's almost the same type of crap. Now, I might be a little stuck on stupid here, but y'all can tell me, yeah, gee, you got a problem. You got a problem. What's your problem? My problem is, why in a city that has, 61% African-American population, that the majority of us that are in jail are us, right? The second part of that is, I can go back to Bobby Jindal saying goodbye to the mental health issues. And by the way, we still are fighting some of that. Then I got to do something wrong to get the help that I need. The numbers and percentages of those that are in jail that need some help is alarming and should be. 53% of the people that are in Orleans Parish Jail need some type of mental health evaluation. Tomorrow, I want to let y'all know at 5 o'clock tomorrow, the psychologist that is the one that sees all the folks over at the Orleans Parish Jail is going to be with us. And that is the man that came before. He got books out. He's got a couple of different books out about how we can prevent certain things. I'm gonna let him tell you more about it. I don't want to give it away. But Dr. Ron Bailey is going to be with us tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And a lot of folks is like, yeah, and your brother. Oh, really? Yeah. We got a brother psychologist. He coming tomorrow to talk about it because the majority of the folks that are in this jail are African-American brothers. Who better to be able to analyze and help you? So he's going to be with us on tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So as I'm reading this legislation, though, this legislation makes me sad because I got to do something wrong to get some help. That's why I'm looking around and saying to myself, I'd rather to see what Unity is doing and why we're not putting that money into Unity and what they're doing instead of saying, okay, I'm going to get you the help, but you got to go to jail first. And we building a massive jail over there that we're calling a mental health hospital that has 80 beds. 80? 80? We got 1,500 folks in jail now. And you telling me that 53% of the folks over there need some mental health help? Somebody help me with the numbers on that. Is that good or bad? Well, it's better than anything that you had before, Gerard. With a T. Okay. It's better than anything that I had before. The legislation introduces the crime unauthorized camping of public property, establishing penalties for violations, first-time offenders facing fines or imprisonment, and repeat offenders facing harsher consequences. Importantly, individuals charged with the first offense may be eligible for the homelessness court. That program is available in their jurisdiction if it's available. The bill requires defendants to enter a guilty plea to qualify for the program, which allows for deferred or suspended sentences with conditions of supervised probation. Successful completion of the program can lead to the dismissal of charges, and the bill mandates that each judicial district create written policies for implementation. The proposed legislation is set for August 1st, 2025, to take effect. Written by Robert Bob Owen. Robert Bob Owen, who is in District 1. District 1, where's that, Gerard? Well, he's got two suites. He's got a suite in Slidell at 250 Buscarin Street. I guess that's how you spell it. Suite 201 and 100 Port Boulevard, Suite 20 in Chalmette. His number is 985 639 0400. 985 639 0400 to his office. His email address is Senator01, it's Sen01, SEN01 at Legis, that's LEGIS .LA.gov. His legislative assistant's name is Miss Jessica M. Brown. I think that we need to have a conversation with him. Because this to me is, I don't know if absurd is a good word to use, but it's like I got to get in trouble to get help. And shouldn't this cost us more money than what we're spending now if I got to go to jail, plus you want to give me some help after I get in jail? Am I going to have to work off that fee? Interesting. More coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
AURN News.
A new Wallet Hub report shows that on average, predominantly white school districts receive $23 billion more per year than those serving mostly non-white students, fueling a stark achievement gap. They ranked all 50 states on 6 metrics, comparing black and white students from high school diplomas to college degrees, test scores to graduation rates. Topping the list is Wyoming with an 88.77 score, followed by New Mexico with 76.62 and Virginia at 73.51. At the bottom sits Wisconsin with just 12.53. Why it matters? Well, where you live can determine whether your child has equal access to quality education. For example, Wyoming and Texas share the smallest gap in high school diploma attainment, while Connecticut and Minnesota trail far behind. Decades after Brown versus Board of Education, these funding and outcome inequities persist, and they ripple outward, influencing a lifetime income and career prospects for students of color. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
I'm waiting with bated breath for someone to hold President Donald Trump accountable for the lies that he spreads on a daily basis. It's downright embarrassing. His lies are a discredit to the integrity of the Oval Office and the people of the United States. We were once considered a nation to be revered and respected, but thanks to our liar-in-chief, we are now perceived as a nation to be pitied and scorned. The most recent incident to garner international blowback was the meeting at the White House between Trump and the president of South Africa, where Trump held up a picture and played a video which he claimed were proof of genocide against white farmers in South Africa. Both displays have now been discredited. Trump claimed the picture showed white crosses that marked the graves where murdered white farmers had been buried. The truth is, there were no graves, and the white crosses had been planted along the roadside as part of a national protest by white and black South Africans, admonishing leaders to do something about the overall murder rate in that country. And the video that Trump played of bodies being loaded in an ambulance was from Sudan, not South Africa. The attempt by Trump to tag the president of South Africa with genocide was, in my mind, a botched attempt to justify allowing 59 white South African refugees to relocate to America while at the same time denying refugee status to people from black and brown countries. Let's be clear. There is no genocide happening in South Africa. Multiple international organizations, including the United Nations and Human Rights Watch, have found no evidence to support such an allegation. South Africa does face serious challenges, violent crime, land inequality, and political corruption among them, but those are systemic and affect citizens across racial lines. Trump's language isn't just inaccurate, he's dangerous. He borrows directly from white nationalist talking points, portraying white South Africans as uniquely persecuted, while at the same time ignoring the deep scars left by apartheid and the ongoing socio-economic struggles of the black South Africans. This isn't basic misinformation, folk. These are lies deliberately meant to skew perceptions, to actively undermine diplomacy, and to feed global extremism. Politicians often boast and exaggerate selectively, choosing facts to make their points, but telling bold-faced lies to fan flames of fiction is disgustingly outrageous. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Missed a show? Want to hear that guest everyone's talking about? WBOK is now streaming on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search WBOK Media, hit download, share with a friend, and don't forget to rate your favorite shows 5 stars. Because when our voices are heard, our impact grows.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month by the community scientists at Rise St. James. This month, we spotlight phthalates, chemicals added to plastics, especially PVC, to make them more flexible and durable. But there's more. Research shows phthalates may disrupt hormones, affect reproductive health, and contribute to environmental pollution impacting our communities. Join us as we explore how these additives shape our everyday lives and the world around us. For more details, visit risestjames.org. Empower your knowledge with Rise.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Fresh produce, local flavor, and a healthy you. New Orleans East Hospital is hosting a farmers market the last Wednesday of every month from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join us in the parking lot across from the main entrance. Support local farmers and your wellness. We'll see you there.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to wish all of our students, teachers, and administrators a great summer break. Use this break as an opportunity to relax and reflect on all of you've accomplished this year. We can't wait to celebrate your success in the coming months.
WBOK. Listen now on WBOK1230.com.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks. As we got a couple of more minutes here before we say adios. I got to say hello to somebody I know that does and has been doing the work for many years, Linda Lewis, my good friend for many years basically Linda, people go to Linda just, telling them their stories, and Linda be sitting right there crying. And I know that she does the work with Armstrong Family Services. So, hey to Linda. And I also got to say hello to Deborah Chapman Kareem, woo, who is also a good friend of mine. And Deborah lost her husband earlier this year. So, of course, my condolences to her on the loss of Mr. Kareem. But I always want her to know that, you know what, we got our arms around her because she's good people. She's very good people and very smart and very knowledgeable of this political system that we got here in New Orleans. Always want to say I love her contributions, not only to the political scene, but a big supporter and a big doer, especially with the NAACP for many years. So I appreciate her, too, for being part of our conversation online as well. Do you think, though, that we have or don't have, I'll put it that way, enough conversations about what's happening from Baton Rouge? Because either this week or next week, I'm going to invite him back because Sean Mena did his first radio broadcast with me probably about a month ago, and he was very knowledgeable of what's going on and even talked about some of the things that they're going to be facing. And he is a legislative person, representative, along with our other folks in the Black Caucus. So I'm going to ask all of them to start thinking about, maybe I'll send that out as a text message on today, what bills are coming aboard that you all are really checking? What bills are coming about that are really making you uncomfortable that folks may not know about? Because a lot of these bills, this is the text message. I know some of you may be looking to see me mess with my phone. My phone even rings while we're on the air, and y'all keep hearing the ding, ding, ding. But a lot of these bills that are coming about out of Baton Rouge, a lot of folks don't know. So I learned these bills when I just go back and just look at the legislative website. So we're going to start learning some more and start hearing from them too, because I think the more that we have that's available, the better we are off knowing what's coming. All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up for me. I appreciate y'all for being a part of the conversation on today. We'll be back on tomorrow. Don't forget, my conversation is going to be with the one and only Ron Bailey, Dr. Ron Bailey. He'll be here at 5 o'clock on tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Coming up, Carrie and Arnie up next at 6 right here at WBOK. Check you later.
WBOK online at WBOK.